For the longest time, the good people of New Orleans have had to hear about how the Pelicans didn't deserve Zion Williamson. And let me tell you that the rationale behind this thought process was just about as disgusting as you think that it'd be. They thought that the Pelicans didn't deserve Zion Williamson because the Pelicans failed Anthony Davis, even though Anthony Davis and Boogie were wrecking the league before Boogie's injury. If DeMarcus Cousins never pulls a me, meaning that he never goes on to tear his Achilles, who knows what happens in New Orleans? So they also thought that the Pelicans didn't deserve Zion Williamson because our market wasn't big enough, and also because he just didn't want to be there, which couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, amid tons of questions surrounding Zion's fitness, he decided to give the Pelicans the deal of a lifetime in 2022, with him having complete confidence in himself. Zion's current contract right now is not fully guaranteed thanks to the clauses in it. Ask yourself this question: why would somebody who didn't want to be in New Orleans sign such a team-friendly contract in New Orleans? So with Zion being committed to New Orleans and his own fitness, he's entering this season in better shape than he was in at Duke. In his own words, he's out for straight vengeance this year, and that's terrifying. But still, there's a big question that surrounds his current situation. But first, guys, we are closing in on 300,000 subscribers. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to bring us closer to that goal. Now, for a word from our sponsor. With a big week of football coming up, I want to get in on some more fantasy action, and what better way to do so than Underdog, the best way to play daily fantasy. With Underdog, you can turn $1 into $1,000, and playing is super simple. So simple that you could literally submit a lineup in less than 30 seconds. Just pick a player and then select if they're going to go higher or lower than their projection. Just do this 2 to 8 times for a chance to win big. You guys already know that I'm a Saints fan, so I had to go ahead and lock in a lineup with Spencer Rattler amid all of this crazy hype. Now, when you guys click the link in the description to sign up, make sure to use my code COOP, because with code COOP, you can get up to $1,000 in bonus cash along with the free pick. It's also a great way to support the channel. Thank you, Underdog, for the sponsor. Zion Williamson is in phenomenal shape. For those of you thinking that we've seen this story before, we actually haven't. Remember when I said that Zion was in better shape than he was in at Duke? That wasn't hyperbole. That Duke Zion that everybody loved so much weighed 285. And right now, Zion is at 281. Like I said in my last Zion video, if he continues to improve physically and avoids injury, then he's going to be a top 5 player in this league, while also being a legitimate threat to win the MVP award. Zion currently has the mindset, he has the fitness, and now he has one of the most talented rosters in the league. I love the talent level of this roster, but what I also love is that this roster was put together with the mindset of maximizing Zion. And who would have thought that a major step towards maximizing Zion would have been getting him a true point guard who can run the offense. Before DeJounte Murray, the last true dynamic point guard that the Pelicans had was Lonzo Ball. And no disrespect to ZO2, but he was nowhere near the offensive threat that DeJounte Murray is. Zion himself said that this is the first time in a while that he's played with a real point guard. He'd continue saying that there were times where CJ would try to play point guard, and he would appreciate that, but there were times where he would just need him to score. In essentially the same breath, he'd also note how different it is coming off of screens with CJ and Brandon, who have a scorer's mindset, as opposed to DeJounte. With DeJounte, he says he has to roll faster, thanks to DeJounte being a true point guard who is looking to make a pass first. I have to say that it is amazing to have another player who is capable of making Zion's life easier, especially when he's going to be asked to do so much on the offensive end with the Pelicans playing a 5-out style of basketball. Don't sleep on how valuable that DeJounte consistently making this pass while also being a threat in the pick and roll is going to be. This simple pocket pass might not always result in an assist for DeJounte, but it does open up the floor for the rest of this Pelicans team. Zion is so dangerous going downhill that he collapses entire defenses, and when the defense doesn't collapse, it's just an easy basket for him. It's really that simple. So obviously in the Pelicans preseason opener, we would see a lot more than just that pocket pass that I just showed you guys. We would get a solid look at what a rejuvenated Zion looks like alongside his new running mate and point guard DeJounte Murray. And as a Pelicans fan myself, I have to say that I was very pleased with what I saw. Against the Magic, the Pelicans started a lineup of Murray, CJ, Theis, Jones, and Williamson. In just 19 minutes, Zion shot 8 of 11 from the field for 16 points and had 8 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. Meanwhile, in just 17 minutes, DeJounte Murray was 2 of 9 from the field for 9 points, but also had 3 rebounds, 6 assists, and 1 steal. Despite DeJounte's poor shooting game, he was needed as the offense looked fluid and decisive when he was on the floor. But guys, as hype as I am for this duo, and as great as it was to see them in action, there are still some things that I can't ignore. The Brandon Ingram situation that I've been talking so much about still hasn't found its resolution, and go figure, Brandon Ingram wouldn't play in the preseason opener. I wonder what's going on there. Perhaps the Pelicans are scared of their star wing suffering an injury, with Trey Murphy already sidelined at least 3 weeks with a hamstring strain, or maybe the Pelicans are close to an extension with Ingram, or maybe they're just finally moving him. The other thing that stood out to me was the Pelicans' lack of size. Theis, who started the game and played well, even knocking down a 3, is only 6'8", and while Jemison, Matkovic, and Missy all stand at 6'11", they lack experience. This trio has played a combined 25 games of NBA basketball, and the kicker here is that all 25 of those games, they're coming from Trey Jemison. He's not even somebody that's firmly on the roster. I'd really just feel a whole lot better if we had somebody who didn't need the ball on offense and could be an anchor down low like Walker Kessler. This man was the number 2 shot blocker in the league last season on a per game basis, averaging 2.4 blocks in just 23 minutes a game. Per 36 minutes, that's 3.7 blocks a game. That's ridiculous. In 2022, I wanted the Pelicans to find a way to draft Kessler. As we all know, that didn't happen, but maybe we could get a little better late than never going on here. Apparently the Jazz have been wanting 2 firsts for Kessler, which I honestly don't think is the worst price. Also, apparently Brandon Ingram is being dubbed as the Jazz's most realistic dream trade target amid their rebuild. I think that we can all connect the dots here, but honestly, with how long that we are outside of the center position, and with how much potential that our bigs have, I don't even think that we'd need a Walker Kessler. I'd be fine with just a Steven Adams, somebody who can bang with the elite centers of the league and grab every single board possible. Don't get confused, I'm excited for the Pelicans playing small by design, but still, I do love having a good breaking case of emergency big, because there will definitely be emergencies, especially when the team is planning to have their best perimeter defender guarding 5s. That's right, according to Shams, the Pelicans are going to want Herb Jones starting at center. But I mean, hey, what else do you expect when your team has gotten advised by Mike D'Antoni? This team had hired him for a reason. That D'Antoni effect is real, even if it's only temporary. But regardless, guys, I think that this is going to be an incredibly fun season, and I'm excited to see where all of this nonsense takes us. Anyways, guys, there's some more going on in the basketball world that I need to be covering. Clicking the video on the screen right now and using code COOP for Underdog are great ways to support this channel. I'm GetLikeCoop, bringing you guys the scoop until our next upload.